All right, guys, I watched this video for Tuesday, October 18th. SPY a little bit heavy again today. It's kind of hovering around the support area. It's just nothing's really moving that well, so it feels, it's just weak. If you trade every day, you understand. My scanners aren't finding very much, my nightly scanners, that is. So, although I've got, I guess, a decent little list for tomorrow. Real quick, I'm going to start doing this in the videos, showing kind of a highlight from today. Today's highlight was CTRV. Was called on this very next candle when I get up to 190. Ramesh, one of our members, longtime member and a super good guy to follow in the chat room. You can select members in our chat room and put them on your hot list and then get an audible alert when just the members on your hot list post something. So it makes the room really customizable. Ramesh is definitely one of the members that's on my hot list. Got an audible alert. He was following CTRV because of its strength yesterday. And then wait a minute, I'm sorry, Strength Friday, and then he was posting this and watching it all morning because it was in a nice tight range. So he kind of put it back on my radar. And on this very next candle, when it got up to about 190, I jumped on the mic, typed it in chat that I liked CTRV. Worst case stop was like 8 cents below, and look at that move. Huge percentage gain there, 38% move from the call, and I would not have gotten that, nor would I have been able to call it for the room if it wasn't for the teamwork in there, and specifically Ramesh today. So that was really cool. So there's a highlight. Nice low-risk setup, right? There's the trigger. Stop right there below, right below that same trigger candle. Very low-risk setup. And you know what? That was the first trade I took all day, not counting a pre-market nibble in something, because I couldn't find anything for 20 to 25 minutes, and then boom. And that, to me, sums up my trading style. I am perfectly comfortable sitting in cash unless and until I have a setup that should work like that. So I think a lot of traders overtrade, and I hope to help people with that. So anyway, CTRV was amazing. Let me go into the list for tomorrow. NVFY was on Bounce Watch today. It did give, I mean, look at this thing. It really flagged all day long and then gives a breakout in the afternoon. Well, what did that give you? 10 minutes till the close, it finally took off. I wasn't trading anymore. If I was, I wouldn't have taken it anyway. There was just no time for it to really work. But if you did take the flag break right about here, could have made a nice little quick profit in a very short period of time. Anyway, I didn't do anything with it, but it goes back on watch for tomorrow. AUPH got really busy today, for lack of a better term. Sold off hard, then came back up, and then ripped hard. So I don't know what to do with it, but it's kind of a recent high flyer anyway. And with that kind of action, there's a lot of people watching it. It certainly is going to be on my radar tomorrow. OPTT, just getting decimated after this huge move back here. Then they announce a secondary, then it gaps down. But then, you know what? Strong day today, still a low float. I'm going to look for a continuation of today's bounce tomorrow. Certainly worth having on a chart. I'll only take a trade with a proper intraday setup. HTGM, just almost no volume anymore, but 15 million shares 4 sessions ago, all the way up to almost 450. It's sitting at $3. I think it's worth having on radar still. OCUL gapped up on good news, and now 3 days lower, right back to support. It was on watch for today, didn't do anything, no trades, and it goes back on watch for tomorrow. Not in love with it because you basically have a round trip from the big breakout, or from the gap up. BSPM, another red day, no trades in it today. You basically have a round trip here too. Another stock that announced a recent secondary. Still think it's worth having on watch for a bounce tomorrow. Don't trade it if it doesn't give a good setup, right? IPCI, another red day. Back down, touched the 8-day today. Don't love this one, but it's worth watching for a turn back up. RLJE gapped up this morning. I loved it. This was my pre-market trade, by the way. I took it here, and then when the market opened, I was selling it up here. I only made a couple $100 on it, but that's better than losing. And ended up closing at its lows. I was surprised because it had good news, had a low float. It met really all the parameters I looked for a possible gap and go, and it didn't go. But it didn't. The beauty of it was it did not meet my entry parameters once the market opened, and it's very unlike me to take a pre-market trade. But I had a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out, and so I took a little bit and then sold it into the opening scalp. But as far as a morning gap play goes, if you weren't in it from pre-market, it did not meet our entry parameters. And I love having a set of parameters. I love having a trading process because it keeps you out of trouble. Most times, a stock won't meet your trigger parameters, your entry parameters, if it's not going to work, right? So rules and a process will keep you out of trouble. I can't say that strongly enough. NSPR, This one, the only reason it's got my attention is because it made a 3-day move from $1.79 to $3.87. That's basically a double, right? In about 3 sessions. And now for a few sessions, you're lower on much lower volume. And it hasn't round trip. So if it's going to turn up, I want it really to happen tomorrow. So it's worth having on watch. And then lastly, I've got EMGT, which gapped up yesterday. I got a nice long trade in it, and then it reversed by the end of the day. And now you've got another day lower, back down to the 20-day, close to a gap fill. That one might turn back up on Tuesday. And in addition to all that, we'll be looking for some potential gappers in the morning, just like we teach in our course. Speaking of webinars and that sort of thing, there is a free webinar that Wayne and I, the guy that does the course with me, we are putting on a free webinar on Thursday night. If you didn't watch last night's video, you might not know about it. So it is the topic is how to analyze your trading and why it's important to review your trades on a daily basis. It's going to be like 30 minutes, real short. So just jump in if you can. Spaces are limited and it's filling up. It's probably half to a little bit over half full right now as far as registration goes. I'm going to put the registration link in the description to this video. So you don't have to email me and say, how do I register? Look down to the video description on YouTube, and there'll be a link there if you want to register. There's still slots open. Again, it'll be about 30 minutes, and once we're done talking about how to analyze your trading, basically the importance of keeping a trade log and going over your trades each night, once we're done with that, Wayne and I are going to hang out for a little bit too and just take questions about anything trading related or the website, the chat room, the course, anything you guys want to talk about. So that'll be available too after about 20 to 30 minute presentation. Should be short and sweet. And I have babbled long enough. You guys have a great evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.